Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be learning how to make this overlap dress with back opening. It's actually a very simple tutorial, so if it looks like what you're interested in, please continue watching. And then after watching this video, if you find it helpful, please like, comment, share so that it will get to a wider audience. Thank you so much for your support. Let's get into it. So I already have my shoulder line, I have my chest line here, and then I have my half length or waistline, whatever you call it. Okay, so we are going to start drafting now. So first thing I'll be doing, I'm going to mark 3 inches as my neck width, and then my neck depth I'm also going to use 3 inches. So after creating my neckline, I'm going to go out by my shoulder measurement divided by 2. And then from that point, for my shoulder slope for this particular dress, I'm going to be using 1 inch. Then I'm going to take my ruler and then I'm going to create my shoulder slope. So after creating my shoulder slope, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come over to my chest line. Okay, so whatever my bust circumference is, I'm going to divide that by 4. Okay, so whatever your bust circumference is, divide it by 4. Okay, so this is it for me. So after dividing it by 4, I'm going to take my curve ruler, I'm going to create my armhole. So however works for you for your armhole, go ahead and create it. Okay, it's not a must that you do what I'm doing. So I'm going to come over to my waistline. I'm going to divide my waist circumference by 4, which is 7, because my waist circumference is 28. Then I'm going to take my straight ruler, then I'm going to connect. Okay guys, so I forgot to actually say something to us before I started drafting this pattern. So what we are going to do, you are actually going to place your center front on fold. Okay, so my pattern is actually on fold. So my pattern is on fold. So do where to place your pattern on fold, because we are going to draft the center front on fold. After you are done marking, all you need to do is to take your tracing wheel. So everything we have here, we are going to trace it out to the other side of the pattern. So just take your tracing wheel and trace out. So after doing that, open it up. Okay, so whatever your tracing wheel is showing at this other side, go ahead and mark it out. So guys, this is it after tracing out to the other side. So what I want you to indicate, as you can see, this is the center line. So what you are going to do, you are going to come over here. Okay, so come over here, make this, mark out this center line. Okay, so after marking out this center line, what we are going to do now, we are going to style this. So take your straight ruler, come over here, go up by 2 inches or 3 inch, 2 inches. So come over here. So I'm going to think I'm okay with 6. Let me use 7 instead. See my finished look. If you want yours like that, then go ahead and do the same. So I'm just going to use 7 inches. So watch what I'm going to do. From this point, from this my shoulder line, I'm going to take it to that 7 inches like this. And then from this point, I'm going to take it down like this. Okay guys, so hope this makes sense. Okay, so I took it from here to 7 inches, and then from 7 inches I took it to the 2 inches that I came up with here. So what we are going to do now, we are going to add ½ inch here. We don't need this other part, so we are just going to add ½ inch here. So guys, this is it for the front pattern. Take your paper, scissors, and then cut out. So this is it for the front piece. So we are going to set it aside. We are also going to draft the back pattern. So for the back pattern, also mark out your guideline. Then from the center back, I'm just going to leave out a few inches. Then from my guideline, I'm going to use 3 inches as my neck width. Then for my neck depth, I'm going to use 1 inch, or let me make it 1½ inch, so it will go down a bit. After doing that, divide your shoulder measurement by 2. Mine is 14, divide by 2, 7 inches. I'm going to mark. Then I'm going to use 1 inch as my shoulder slope. After doing that, I'm going to mark my shoulder to chest line. So after doing that, I'm going to mark my shoulder to half length, which is 16. So whatever yours is, go ahead and mark it. So whatever your bust point is, divide it by 4 and then go in by whatever you have. And then on your waistline, divide your waist circumference by 4, then also go in by whatever you have. So create your armhole however you know how to create your armhole. So guys, come over here. Let's use 1 inch as our neckline, please. Remark your neckline to 1 inch. 1 inch is okay. Half inch is a bit too much. 1.5 inch is a bit too much. Remark it to 1 inch. So guys, because of the particular style we are making, what we are going to do, we are not going to add allowance for zipper. Okay, so it's not going to have zipper at the back. Instead, we are going to take off a few inches from the center back. So come over to your center back. We are going to take off 1 inch so that at the end of the day, we'll have 2 inches space left at our center back. So this is actually a matter of choice. If you don't want to, you can actually leave out yours like that. So we are going to take off 1 inch. Okay, take off 1 inch from your center back and then add extra half inch as your allowance. So hope this makes sense. These are our center back, original center back. Then we'll take off 1 inch. So from that 1 inch you took off, we are going to add half inch allowance because we are going to hem that point. So this whole point, let me cut it off now so that it will not be confusing us. So we'll just shorten our center back by 1 inch. So hope this makes sense. So what we are going to do now, go ahead and then add your allowance around this. So guys, this is it for the back pattern. So we are also going to set it aside. We are also going to draft our skirt pattern. The center front pattern is also going to be on fold. So I'm just going to trace out my guideline like so. So the skirt pattern, like I said, my center front is going to be on fold. This pattern is on fold, so make sure you place your pattern on fold. So after doing that, whatever your waist measurement is, mine is 7. Divide your waist circumference by 4. So mine is 28 divided by 4, which is 7. That is what I already marked here. And then your waist to hip line, whatever you use as your waist to hip line, mark it. I usually use 9, so I'm going to mark my 9 inches. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to mark my full length. So whatever you want to use as your full length, go ahead and mark it. For me, I'm going to be using 18 inches. So I just marked my 18 inches. That's my full length. So this is my hip line, and then this is my full length, and then this is my waistline. My hip circumference divided by 4 is 10, so I'm using 40 inches. So mine is 32 divided by 4 is going to give me 8 inches. So I'm going to mark it here. Okay, so you are not using your knee circumference of myself from my waistline, okay, to 2 inches to this 18 inches I'm using. Okay, and then when I stop at that 18 inches, I took round circumference of what I have there, and then it gave me 32 inches. So that 32 inches, I divided it by 4. And it's giving me 8. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to connect it from this point to that 8 inches. So hope this makes sense. The next thing we are going to do, just like we did before, we are going to take your tracing wheel, trace out everything you have here to the other side. Remember, this pattern is on fold. So after tracing it out, open it up, take your pencil, your biro, whatever you are using, and then trace it out. So guys, this is it. We are going to style. We are going to come over to your hip line. Okay, so come over to your hip line, come down by 2 inches, then take your curve ruler. Okay, so just watch out what I'm doing. Take your curve ruler and then create a curve like this. Okay, so create a curve like this to one side of it. Okay, so after doing this, what we are going to do, just add your allowance around this. So in order for us not to be confused, we are going to cut out on our fabric first before we actually trace out the second side of this style. So guys, this is it. So what we are going to do now, we are going to cut out on our fabric before we actually cut the overlap side of it. Don't throw it away, keep this, just set it aside. We are going to bring it back. Okay guys, so this is it. So go ahead, we are going to go ahead and cut out on our fabric. Okay, so for this time, using this light dotches, actually pieces of dotches that I have left from the other style I made before. So guys, after pinning down, go ahead and cut out. This is it for the center front. So I'm going to take off this pattern now. Okay, so this is for the center front, so I'm going to set it aside. So remember, like I said, we should not throw these parts away. So just go ahead and use your paper tape and tape it together. We are just going to take this 1 inch down. After taping this point together, what you are going to do now, you are going to come over to your waistline. Okay, so come over to your waistline. We are going to go in by 3 inches. So from your waistline, go in by 3 inches. You can either go in by 3 inches or 3.5 inch. Okay, let's use 3.5 inch. And then take your curve ruler. Okay, so take your curve ruler from this point. Okay, so remember this allowance, we are going to sew it off. So whatever you are doing, come over from this point. Okay, we are going to sew off this allowance, don't forget. So you are going to connect it from here. Okay guys, so hope this makes sense. So this is it for one side of this pattern. So this is it for the other side. I'm just going to label it as side. So all you need to do now is to add your 1/2 inch also round, just like we did on the other side, and then cut out. Take your paper scissors and then cut out like this. So we are going to go over to our fabric now. Bring in your fabric and then cut out. So guys, this is it. Okay, so this is it for the center front, and then this is it for the side front. Okay, so this is how the side front is going to be. Hope this makes sense. So we are going to set it aside. So guys, I'm taking it one step at a time so that it will not be confusing for us. So we are going to trace out the back pattern now. The back skirt, remember the back down, we are here to trace it out. So I'm going to mark out a few inches from my center back. So after doing that, also I'm going to impute my round waist circumference. Your round waist circumference divided by 4. Also mark down your waist to hip line. Remember the front, I use 18 inches, so I'm going to use the same inches here. I used 8 inches as my thigh circumference. Because it was 32, I divided it by 4, which gave me 8 inches. And then my hip line, my hip 40 divided by 4, 10. So all I need to do now is to connect. I'm going to come over to the center back. I'm going to add 1 inch as my allowance. Okay, so I usually take off 1/2 inch from my waistline. So after doing that, what I'm going to do now, from this point, from this 1/2 inch I went in with, I'm going to add 1 inch like that. So this is the back pattern. So we are going to cut out on our fabric. After pinning down, I'm going to cut out back pattern. So what we are going to do, we are going to cut out interfacing for the back. Okay, so just cut out interfacing for the back. So just cut this at 2 pieces as your interfacing. So guys, after pinning down, we are also going to go ahead and then cut out. Okay guys, so this is it for the center front. This is it for the center front. So this is it for the whole pattern. Okay, so I already cut out my back pattern. So what we are going to do now, we are starting with this. So first thing first, we are going to go over to your machine, and then you are going to top stitch by 1/2 inch. Okay, so remember we actually added 1/2 inch here, so you are going to top stitch from here to the end by 1/2 inch, and then we are also going to do the same with this piece. Okay, so hope this is clear. So I'll go over to my machine and do that, and then I'll bring it back. Join by 1/2 inch, as you can see. So I've already done that. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. Okay, so the down piece, you're going to bring in the center front. So this is it. So remember, this is the side. So what we are going to do now, you are going to go over to your machine, and then you are going to top stitch like this. Okay, so this is actually to hold it together so it won't be moving. So go over to your machine, top stitch it at this point, and then come over at the side, also top stitch it. So hope this is clear. So I'll go over to my machine and do that, and then I'll bring it back. So I already top stitched at the waistline and then by the side, as you can see. So this is it. So what you're going to do next, you're going to bring in the front piece, the one that will actually hem by 1/2 inch. What you're going to do, you're going to join it like this. Okay, right side facing the right side. Then you're going to do the same thing with this. Okay, right side facing the right side like this also. So make sure they are aligning. Then pin down. After pinning down, what you are going to do, you are going to go over to your machine, and then you are going to join at this point by 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring both pieces back. So this is it after joining. So just like my shoulder does, I already joined. Okay, so this is it. So I'm going to set it aside, and then I'm going to bring in the back pattern. So for the back piece, what we are going to do, remember we took off our 1/2 inch. So what we are going to do, we are going to join at this point by 1/2 inch, and then also join on your neckline by 1/2 inch, and then also join on your neckline by 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring both pieces back. Okay, so I already joined like I instructed. So this is it for the back piece. So we are going to set it aside now. We are going to bring in your down piece. Okay, so what we are going to do, remember I actually asked us to cut out interfacing. Remember I asked us to cut out interfacing. So this is it for my interfacing. I'm going to join it like this. Okay, so right side facing the right side. So pin your interfacing down. So what you are going to do, you are going to go ahead, join your center back. Okay, so join your center back. After joining your center back, what you are going to do, you are going to fix your zipper. So guys, I would really advise you use invisible zip. So don't mind the color of zip I'm using. This is just for tutorial. Watch what you are going to do. So after joining your center back, go ahead and then fix your zip. Okay, so just fix your zip straight. Sew a little here, sew a little here to about 2 inches, and then sew a little here to about 2 inches. Okay, then fix your zip. So fixing our zip, we'll bring it back so that I will show us how we are going to do it. So this is it. So remember I asked us to stitch about 2 inches. So I already stitched my 2 inches. Okay, and then I join my zip with 1 inch, then I'm left with 1 inch. So this is the 1 inch. Okay, so this is the 1 inch. Let me take off this pin. Okay, so this is it for the 1 inch, and then this is it for the 1 inch. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we are going to turn this over. Okay, so bring in this zip. So just take this zip inward like this. So bring your zip like this. So bring your zip inward like this, stitch, and then we are going to also stitch this on it. So guys, so hope this makes sense. So that at the end of the day, this is what we'll have here. So we are going to do the same thing with this side. So guys, I'll go over to my machine and do that now, and then I'm going to bring it back. Okay, so that after sewing, this is what we'll be having here. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my machine and do that, and then I'll bring it back. Okay, so this is it. So what we are going to do now, these few inches you have here, you are going to turn it out. So just turn everything out, and then bring one side of your back piece. You are going to join it like this, right side facing the right side. Okay, so this is it. So you're also going to do the same thing here. So guys, this is it. So what you're going to do now, you're going to go over to your machine, join at this point by 1/2 inch, and then join at this point by 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring it back. Okay, so this is it after sewing. So what you're going to do now, you're going to bring in the front piece. So bring in the front piece. We are going to join it right side facing the right side. Okay, so just make sure it's aligning here. Okay, so join it also shoulder to shoulder, then pin it to the end. As this is it, so we are going to do the same thing here. Join it, so just come over here and pin down. You are going to come over to the shoulder, you are going to join by 1/2 inch, come over to this shoulder, join by 1/2 inch, and then by the side join by 1 inch, then come over to this other side, also join by the side by 1 inch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring it back. So this is it after joining at the shoulder and then by the side. Get a fresh pattern paper just like this, then you're going to just create a line, then mark roughly 2 inches round. So after marking to 1/2 inch round, go ahead and connect it. Okay, so this is it. So we are going to be making use of 4 inches. We'll join with 1/2 inch and then hem with 1/2 inch, and then we'll be left with 3 inches. So this is what I'm going to do. From this point, I'm going to mark 4 inches like so. Then I'll take my curve ruler and then connect. So when you're done from this point, you start marking your 4 inch. So let's connect it together. Connecting, go ahead and cut out. What we are going to do now, you're going to bring in the flanks we already cut out before. So I had to cut another one and then join at this point. So what you're going to do now, you're going to come over here. Okay, and then you're going to join right side facing the right side. So join right side facing the right side, and then we are going to pin this round. Okay, so I have excesses left, so I'm going to cut it off. Okay, so guys, so hope this is clear. Okay, so this is it. So you are going to go over to your machine now. So you're going to go over to your machine, and then you are going to join by 1/2 inch to the end. So hope this is clear. So I'll go over to my machine and do that, and then I'll bring it back. So this is it after joining. Okay, so just like I instructed, I already joined. Okay, so this is it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hem it down. So after hemming it down, what you are going to do, also hem the sleeve. Okay, if you want to add sleeve, go ahead and add sleeve. Okay, so after doing that, what you are going to do, you're going to come over to the back, and then you are going to cut out strap. So just cut out a little bit of strap, add it to this point, and then add it to this point, then tie it together. Okay, that will hold the back. So this is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching.